What's up, agents? Zero here. Welcome back to another Minecraft Redstone video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys 5 different micro farms that you can build in your survival world. Now, for those of you who've been on my channel for a long time, you may know that Redstone videos is something that I did quite often, not so much anymore, and I want to go ahead and change that. I have a few different ideas for things that I could potentially do, and also I'm not going to be doing a tutorial on these particular builds as far as this video is concerned. I'm just going to be showcasing them. However, if you guys do want me to go ahead and do tutorials on each of these builds, then make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. And last but not least, there will be a link down in the description to this world if you guys want to go ahead and check out these builds for yourself. But let's go ahead and get started. And one more thing, I literally just thought of this. If you guys want to actually be able to use these, you are going to need some sort of bone meal farm. Either you need to find a skeleton dungeon and turn it into some form of grinder, or you need to have a super efficient composter farm, which, let's be honest, that's not necessarily the best way to go because you get very little bone meal for the amount of stuff that you put in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And this first one is your basic crop farm, and this is what most people tend to think of when it comes to these micro farms, although admittedly it may not necessarily be this particular design, although I will also say there are a lot of different designs that exist. And this is actually one that I came up with. This is actually somewhat based off of a design by my friend Septic Spud, but I actually did quite a few changes in order to actually get this to work. So let's go ahead and get started. So you can go ahead and grow seeds, which obviously is going to be wheat, carrots, potatoes, and beetroot. And I realized that beetroot is not something that people typically tend to grow because it's not very good. But farmer villagers will go ahead and trade for beetroot. So it is definitely useful in that regard. So let's go ahead and pull up the seeds for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and step on this pressure plate. And it's just going to go ahead and do this. These dispensers are going to be dispensing out. As you can tell, they're all completely full of bone meal. Like I said, you are going to need a bone meal farm of some sort. And all you have to do is go ahead and click down, and or at least hold down, and it will automatically start growing absolutely everything for you without too much of an issue. So I can just sit here for a relatively short amount of time. Admittedly, this is going to use a ton of bone meal. I realize that, and that's why you need a bone meal farm. If you take a look at that. Look at how much stuff that I just got from doing that. That's actually not too bad, all things considered. So there's the basic micro farm for you guys. And I'm going to show you guys the backside redstone at the very end of the video. So I'm not going to show it to you right away. Next up, this is a fairly similar design. However, this one is actually for cocoa beans, and it actually does work pretty much the same as that one as far as actually working it yourself. However, the way the redstone is wired is obviously going to end up being different. So if we go ahead and stand right here, then I can go ahead and place down my cocoa beans right there, and they're just going to go ahead and grow continuously. So all I have to do, obviously, just like the last one, is go ahead and hold down the button, and I will go ahead and get tons and tons of cocoa beans. Take a look at that. I got over a stack and a half of cocoa beans without too much issue. So actually pretty nice. Now, these next two farms, this one is actually a bamboo farm, and this one is actually a sugarcane farm. They both function exactly the same, and I will go ahead and show you guys both of these individually, although like I just said, they both work exactly the same. So this one, all I have to do is stand right here, and as you can tell, it grows the bamboo super fast. Obviously it's using the bone meal, and it's all dropping down into that hopper on the other side, which is going to collect inside of this barrel. If you guys want to use a chest, you definitely can, but it just grows absolutely everything super quickly, which is the whole point of it. And as I said, this is exactly the same. The only difference between the sugarcane and the bamboo is obviously the sugarcane needs a water source in order to actually be planted in the first place, but otherwise the redstone is completely 100% the same. You can't obviously go ahead and use sand if you really want to. Everyone knows that. But yeah, it goes ahead and makes its way into the barrel because of the hoppers. And last but not least, this one actually functions pretty much exactly the same, but it actually is built a little bit different just simply because of the way the mechanics for kelp works. Yeah, this is a kelp farm, so I go ahead and do this. And yeah, it's exactly the same as I said, but obviously it's kelp, which means it has to be underwater. And something I do want to go ahead and mention is that the very front section is actually just flowing water, and also the piston is actually waterlogged in order to keep the water from being able to lose the water source. I realize I said that in a weird way, but hopefully that makes some amount of sense. But yeah, it's actually flowing water at the front so that it falls down on the bottom, which is pretty nice, all things considered. But yeah, very simple to go ahead and use, like I said. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the redstone actually looks like back here. So if we go ahead and stand on this pressure, it obviously activates. And it actually runs all the way back here to this comparator clock, which this comparator clock is actually used for every single one of these. Do keep this in mind, and that's how it's actually able to get the amount of stuff that it does. But this just simply runs right up into the dispensers for the bone meal super quickly, and then it's got this repeater set to 4 ticks, which runs into this redstone torch, which is going to be powering and depowering this sticky piston, allowing the dirt to go ahead and move up and down. You are also going to need some blocks that are waterlogged. I've actually got staircases here specifically since they actually do not run water down below it so long as the staircase is right side up. Hopefully that makes some amount of sense. Next up, we have ourselves the cocoa bean farm, and this one is actually using 2 regular pistons, one facing upwards and one facing downwards. And as you run this, they are going to alternate which one is extended, which is how the actual cocoa beans are harvested, because the jungle logs will go ahead and cause the cocoa beans to break when they get moved, so that's actually kind of nice. And as I said, these two are pretty much identical, with the exception of obviously the sugarcane needing a water source, but like I said, identical otherwise. So this is what the redstone looks like. I go ahead and show you guys the comparator clock down here, and this just simply runs not only into the dispensers full of bone meal, but also runs up here to this repeater. This repeater is actually set to 2 ticks delay, which is how it's able to run as fast as it does. And it's attached to the sticky piston, which, as you can tell, is attached to slime blocks. Redstone for the two is exactly the same, so I don't really need to go into too much detail on both of them, but you guys get the point. And last but not least is actually the kelp farm, and the way this actually works is exactly the same as the bamboo and sugarcane farms. The only difference is how it's wired, because, well, you don't need slime blocks really. You can just run it directly into the piston. But like I said, other than that, it works exactly the same as the other two. So it's kind of nice. And obviously, it does exactly what it's supposed to. It gets you guys your materials super fast without too much of an issue. Although, like I did say, bone meal is necessary for these farms to actually go ahead and work. Now, this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and end things off. But before I do, there will be a link down in the description for you guys to go ahead and check these builds out for yourself. But yeah, like I said, this is where I'm ending things off. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCP0 to stay updated. This has been Zero Studios. Thank you guys for watching. And with that, I'll see you guys later.